Today is Saturday, March 24th, 2018. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the listener feedback show for Survivor Ghost Island Week 4.
That's right. 2 shows a week. We do a recap on Wednesday night right after the episode airs. And then on Saturday, we turn it over to the super fans. It's your show. Tell us what you saw, maybe something we didn't cover, an analysis from your particular lens on the world, and some predictions to help us make some picks for our fantasy league. That's always super important when we're talking about the listener feedback show. Like, number one priority, help see things different way, different light, especially when we've got a situation like what's coming up where the tribes are going to scramble again.
Oh, yeah.
You need to take a step back. You need to have a little wider view. Look at the overall one-per-one perspective of what's going on. Who's most likely? Who's the featured players? Where's the story developing? What insights might we gain from this group of experts? How many showed up this week?
20.
20 super fans weighing in on week 4 of Survivor Ghost Island. Now, this episode, granted, wasn't a great one. It won't be remembered in Survivor history as a great one.
For you.
Well, it's not even just that. I'm saying the general sentiment is that this isn't going to be one of the better episodes from that perspective. And folks want to sound off a bit about the whole Ghost Island concept.
Well, that I understand.
Yeah, definitely there's a trend of disappointment that's trickling out of Ghost Island at this point, and several folks wanted to talk about that. Okay,
I won't talk. I was ready to give my opinion, but I'm sure I already have, so okay.
Well, and
let's hear what
Pete
has to say.
We'll see what Pete and 19 others have to say, and then we'll wrap up with a little special treat. A long overdue debt is going to get paid at the end of this episode.
All right,
kick it off, Pete.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pete from Boston calling here. Oh, this was kind of a sad episode, but I'll still let out a great big, well, not great big, a woo, because it was still a very good episode. I thought it was a clean episode, and by far not maybe the most challenging episode in terms of who got voted out, because it was a little bit, it wasn't that anticlimactic, but there was no big blind side, and I feel so bad that Stephanie got voted out, Stacy. I know, she was your USB there, and you had her to win. So I don't know. She was just on the wrong side of the numbers, and she had potential to be a great player. That was sad. But I give a lot of credit, to Michael for fighting. Obviously, Stephanie fought. Even Jenna, although I don't know, Jenna now is a pawn with Sebastian. So we have a little bit of Robin, Amber showmance, it looks like right now. And, we'll see how long that lasts. But Bradley did a little bit better this episode. He wasn't as egotistical. And I love Kellen. She's turned into a pretty solid player with Chelsea as well. And I love that the 5 of that Navidi came together and decided on who to vote out, and no one was really flipping. And on the other side, this Chris and Dominic showdown is going to come to a blow now. They're building it, but we'll see. Are they going to be on the same tribe? Looks like another tribe swap is coming. So we'll see how that turns out. And where will Donathan end up? Looked like he was going to be with Dominic at first, with Laurel, but now it looks like because of his story with Chris's mom and Donathan's grandma and all that, that's big stuff there. Who knows? And you could tell they clearly bonded. Actually, I was thinking of my grandma a little bit too when I saw that story of Donathan. Very powerful. And real quick, guys, can we say that Ghost Island now is turning into a joke? I mean, come on, Stephanie goes there. I was praying she could get some kind of an advantage like an idol, and she couldn't even play. Come on now. I mean, what's the whole idea? Kellen didn't play last week. The only one that really played so far was Darwin, and that was the legacy advantage. I don't know. What do you think, guys? I think they're going to have to change Ghost Island a little bit if they bring it back in the future. We'll see what happens, guys. But I'm sorry, Stacy, that Stephanie went home. She'll be back in a future season. Mark my words. Take care. Woo.
All right. Thanks, Pete. I think you did a good job of summing parts of that up. Next up, we got a call from Shea.
Hey guys, it's Shay. Man, I'm so sorry. The people that I personally, and I think you guys personally thought were going to be like really strong and hang in there or just like falling like dominoes, it was really hard to watch. I mean, Jenna was like, okay. I mean, I didn't want to see her go either, but I really felt for all three of them. And to see Michael cry about it when he was doing his solo interview, that got me. And Stephanie, too, just, that was so sad. I really, really hated that. It was good to see some other things, though. It was good to see Desiree start talking strategy. I don't know that I've ever seen her do that before. And Chelsea, the little girl in the challenge who went out twice to get the bags. I think it's the first time I've really seen her do much of anything. Ghost Island, total bust again. I don't even get it anymore. One big yawn for me. Chris, I mean, he went to town on that challenge for the pastries, and that was really exciting to watch. And I was like, you go. And then he did his solo interview and opened his mouth, and I wish somebody would have just stuffed another pastry in it. Oh, my God. Mic drop. Whatever. It's a really good episode. Just yet again, the ending was tough for me. I really liked her very much. Really excited to hear what everybody else has to say. And again, I hate that both of you have lost your people. Oh, else, when Chris was talking to Jonathan, who I personally would like to see go pretty far in this game, it would be really cool, actually, in my opinion, for someone as meek as he seems to be to really get far. And when he started talking about maybe he should do something with Chris instead of Laurel, and all I could say right then out loud to my husband was, no, no, no. It is not time yet for him to start reminding people he's there. You know, so far it's like people forgot really that they even need to worry about him. I think you just need to keep quiet and keep following along, being a goat until the merge. Don't make any moves that remind people you exist until at least the merge. Then start worrying about moves to prove to the jury. But for right now, let everybody else do all that. Again, I'm sorry, Stacy, and I can't wait to hear what everybody else has to say. You guys have a great night. Bye.
Hey, guys, this is Shea. I know I already called. I just have something really quick to add. When you guys were talking about Laurel talking to Jonathan and Chris talking to Jonathan and how they were different, they most definitely were, and I'll tell you exactly how. Laurel went and sat down to Jonathan and listened. Chris sounded like he was going to do the same thing. Listen, see what's on Jonathan's mind, be there for him. But instead, all he did was talk, and then talk some more about how good he was and what he did. And it is good, what he did for his mom, but I don't know how Jonathan fell for that, because one felt so much more genuine. They may have both been done out of gameplay, but one person actually just allowed Jonathan to feel and speak, and the other one, being Chris, just talked about himself. As usual, that was the difference. Listening, talking. Okay, have a good day.
I like that. That's a good way to break that down. Listening versus talking. And yet, the talking had the bigger impact. We're going to hear some more about why that might be the case as we go along this week. Next up, we got an email from Mike in Omaha. Oh, I am crushed. Sorry, Stacy, for you losing your USB. It seemed like this week's victim was one of your favorite players. I'm right with you. That is true. I have to say, this one I saw coming. Once they started showing so much of Michael, I was like, crap, it's Stephanie. I would have much preferred Jenna going. Joanne, you still with me that Jenna kind of sucks?
Yep, a little bit.
Maybe that's not why you picked her as your first go-home, but I'm still unimpressed with Jenna. Now, I cannot blame Des, Bradley, Kellen, Sebastian, or Chelsea, who, after listening to Stephanie's exit interviews, has me sure the reason we've not seen a lot of the cheerleader isn't to throw us off, but because there's not a lot going on with her strategy. I think they made the statistically smart play by staying together. Moreover, I cannot blame Jenna and Michael for turning on Stephanie. Why rock the boat when your back is against the wall and you have no idols up your sleeve? Just puts you in the crosshairs in the future. Just a crappy situation all around. There's really no one to blame. We lost a great player. I definitely feel Stephanie was one of the most interesting this season. Desiree's stock continues to raise, in my opinion. Another time she sets her sights on a true threat and pulls the trigger. Desiree is impressing me a ton, along with Michael. I'm beginning to think Chris Noble might go really deep into this game, as improbable as that seems. I need Velma and Fred to help me figure out who's next. Failing that, I'll just take one of Shaggy's sandwiches and a nap in the mystery machine. Good luck, fellow JSFL players, on whose torch is snuffed. With the tribal switch up, all bets are off. I love to hear the interaction between Stacy and Joanne. You guys are amazing. Oh, thank you, Mike. Next up, we got a call from Sandy, and Sandy picked up on something that you and I saw on a later viewing of this week's episode that I'm really excited to talk about. I'm glad she pointed this out.
Okay.
Hi guys, this is Sandy from Atlanta. I'm enjoying this Ghost Island. I think it's really becoming interesting. And for some reason, I'm really getting to know the boys. I get to know Michael and Chris and, Sebastian. But the girls are all melding together into one. For some reason, there's only a few that I really can remember who they are. Kellen, her ADHD medication didn't make it to the island. I think that's something she needs to look into. And did anyone notice after the immunity challenge where Jeff was talking to her and she was crying, that I think it was Jenna that put her hand on her shoulder and she shrugged it off very angrily. And I thought, she doesn't like Jenna. But maybe it was not Jenna because it didn't come out later in the episode that she wanted Jenna off. Anyway, I was hated to see Stephanie go. I thought she could have really done well all the way through the game. It would have been fun to watch her. Maybe we'll see her again. Anyway, I love the stuff with Donathan. I think he's really got a storyline coming. And James, I keep waiting for him to goof up again and get voted off. Oh, well, I will see you all soon. Have a good week. And go watch that footage. See if you think the same as I do about Kellen. Bye.
We do think the same as you on that, Sandy. Joanne and I were watching again. I don't know if it was our second or our third time through, but we saw that part where Jeff was asking Kellen after the challenge, and it was Jenna who reached over, put her hand on Kellen's shoulder, and Kellen just kind of, it was almost violently shrugged it off. She's like, don't touch me.
Yeah.
Like, you're not worth being able to touch me.
That was a great big,
there's a nonverbal,
get your hand off me.
Yeah, get off me. That was conveyed in that, and we had missed it. We were both taking notes at that point, I guess, and hadn't picked up on it in our first viewing. Otherwise, we would have talked about that in the recap.
Yeah, but it was like, oh, wow, I didn't see that. I didn't see that either.
Yeah, that was very strong.
Jeff, of course, was talking to her again, and how expressive her face was. And so she was upset with herself, but... you know what? That's what she said.
I know what her script is. I know what she's saying. I don't buy it. Just like, I don't think that she deemed that Jenna was someone who could comfort her. So I bet you there's a completely different Kellen. I think there's a dark Kellen that we're not getting to see, that they're keeping from us.
That was quite the reaction.
You don't usually see people get like that at all, especially when someone's reaching out to you
to try to comfort you.
Yeah, to throw comfort off like that. So we're right there with you, Sandy. That was a big one that we missed on the first viewing for sure.
Good job, Sandy.
Next up, got a call from Sophie. She's back from the slopes.
Hi everyone, it's Sophie in Texas. Hope you're all okay. Stacey, I'm sorry about Stephanie, but she had a good run and she came to Survivor. She did what she needed to do, except win. But she got her message through about following her dreams, etc., etc. I was just glad that it wasn't Michael. I'm hoping that Michael and Bradley have a bit of a showdown, that the sort of tension between them keeps keeps up and keeps bubbling. And yeah, we'll see. It'll be fun to see them competing if they both make the merge. Laurel is the girl who's doing the best. Everybody else, not too sure. I think I'm so ready for people to be voted off. I'm hoping that the tribe split maybe into 5-5-5 so that the losing 2 teams of a challenge both go to tribal and they have to vote somebody off. Or, like he said, having a 7-7 and then one person goes to Ghost Island. But Ghost Island is such a disappointment. The producers, I'm sure they're embarrassed about how it's all going. It is such a fail. It should have been more like Exile, so that when every time somebody goes to Exile or Ghost Island, they get another clue. They get another note to find an idol, to give them something to do, to give them something to search for. Otherwise, it's just ridiculous. Okay, the people who I want gone next. I know, I'm so negative. I want Angela, Jenna, and James gone. But you know what? They'll probably just end up making friends and helping each other through. I don't know. Who's going to win? Who's going to win? Who deserves to win? I don't see anybody. I don't know. Maybe Michael. I don't know. But now we're all in the same boat. Stacey, Joanne, and me, and a few others. We need to choose a new winner. So that's coming up. So that will be fun. Hope you have a good weekend. And yeah, I'm keeping this short. So it was an okay episode. The only thing I would have changed about the challenge, which was fantastic with the board and the water, was if I was on Chelsea's team, I would have given her a bit more rope. I would have been sort of feeding it to her while she was running, because sometimes she was being pulled back and it just seemed so draining. No wonder the girls were tired. But that was good. And Chris, yeah, he did well, but he's just crazy. As soon as he starts talking, oh my goodness, all this mic drop stuff. Anyway, take care. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Thanks, Sophie. Next up, we got an email from Jack in California.
Hi, all Survivor fans. What's going on with Ghost Island? First, they hyped up this season, and I still think the theme is a really neat one. But when the castaways go to the island, more times than not, there's no excitement happening. To help make the season better, I would have put all the idols and advantages on Ghost Island and none around the camp. And each time someone new goes to the island, I would have had them play some type of game or tease them for being placed there and give them a clue to a misplaced idol rather than give the visitors nothing to do. Nonetheless, I'm still enjoying this season, and this recent episode was a fun one to watch. It had a great bonding moment between Donathan and Chris. I can understand the struggle Donathan was going through, and that something so small like this reward can bring back memories from the outside world. I can only imagine that when your whole life is looking after someone else, that it could be hard to be alone and not have that support. Chris handled it very well, and I think there's a strong bond created there that can put both further into the game. Speaking of Chris, he literally carried his tribe on his back and dominated in that reward challenge. He is a one-man throwing machine, and that was really quite impressive. The immunity challenge looked really fun, and I would absolutely want to try this one. Watching the tribes compete, it was basically even throughout the entire time, and I loved watching Desi survive being pulled completely underwater and making it back to the tribe with very little effort. Then there's Stephanie. I really have liked watching her gameplay, and I wish she could have made it further into the game. She had some strong moments near the beginning of the season regarding the vote out of Jacob, and I do agree she had a lot more game left to play. Looking forward to hearing everyone else's thoughts. All right, thanks, Jack. Up next, we have a voice clip from Susan.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Susan from Hawaii. Sorry I didn't call in last week. I had a very busy week, but I'm back again this week. And I just wanted to start off by saying that I think Ghost Island is a dud, just like you guys do. Well, at least Stacy does. I was really bummed about the way that it played out this week. I thought, why even bother with it? And I agree. I think Jeff Probst is probably questioning what happens to people over there for this season. To start the rest of my dialogue with you guys, I'm going to talk about my USB Sebastian, and not exactly sure which direction things are going to go for him, because he could either be considered a guy, but not one of the most threatening guys, so go far, because he doesn't seem to be that smart, and he also is not as capable in challenges as I thought he was going to be after what we saw with his performance this week. So I'm hoping he goes deep, but I don't think he's going to win, unfortunately. And I'm sorry you guys got pagonged in the last 2 weeks on your USBs, because you guys are completely out of the game now with your USB points, at least. So sorry about that for you guys. Oh, yeah, I'm really dwelling on this one thing. Why was Desiree looking in the bag and confirming they didn't have an idol? I thought that wasn't fair play. I was surprised that they showed it, and I'm wondering if that was, like, I guess it's allowed because they did it and it was played out. But I'm thinking maybe they showed it because it'll come back to haunt her that she was the person who was willing to do that, especially when they shake things up and someone's looking for something to, like, throw shade on somebody else, you know, like, hey, well, she was digging in somebody's bag. Or maybe she's just going to do more sneaky stuff and make it all the way. I don't know what to expect for this season, and it's not as fun as I thought it was going to be so far, unless they figure out some way to bring something really good off of Ghost Island. But I don't like pagongings in terms of vote off. I don't like it being so obvious. I'm spoiled because we've had a lot of good gameplay and a lot of blindside. So it was kind of underwhelming for me this week. Very interested in the mix-up and how things are going to shake out. No idea who's going home. I'm putting Michael in again because he's physical and has had some gameplay, but I'm probably going to change that before Wednesday. I don't know, think about it a little bit more. I kind of think Chris is under the gun because he's one of those guys you want to get off before a merge. Like, who's going to be able to dominate challenges and win individual immunity is what all of them should be thinking right now. So I think a strong guy's going home this week. Thanks for everything you do. Love the program. Bye.
Great to hear from you again, Susan.
Yeah, however, if they do go to 5, is their opinion going to change? Are they going to want to get rid of the strong ones then? Because if they stay there for a while, you could wipe out a whole tribe.
Yeah.
So, pretty much, if the same tribe kept losing, it wouldn't take long to get rid of
to get rid of
5
almost
people.
everyone. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and that could be a big disadvantage. So, will they want to go get out big people? There's something else to think about. I hope they do go to 3.
Yep.
I just think it will shake it up better for.
To Susan's question about Desiree going in, that's perfectly okay. You can't take something from someone else in their personal possessions, but looking through someone's possessions, that's been a common practice for a while. Certainly folks might take offense at it, but it's something that you should expect to happen if you're a castaway at this point.
She couldn't steal the idol or take it if she did find it, but it's nothing against looking.
Yep, absolutely.
Unless you get caught.
Thanks, Susan. Next up, we got a call from Rashmi. Rashmi's back.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy and all my survivor friends. I'm back from my wonderful trip to US and Vegas in particular. Though I did not gamble, I'm not a gambler. I was busy painting there, and I saw some beautiful sights, and the people there are so nice. Everybody I met in US was so kind and generous and wonderful. So I got back on Thursday the 8th, and on the very same night, I caught up with my survivor. So those were the first 3, or should I say 2 episodes, but I don't remember them too well. I was quite jet-lagged. Now, about the season, I just can't get over Donathan, or is it Jonathan? Sounds a bit like Dumbo and Jumbo. But seriously, I have a hard time deciphering what he says. He looks so much like Dewey Crow from Justified, and he speaks like him too. I'm still getting to know the cast, and so far I can't stand Sebastian. There's just something about him. I'm sure he's a wonderful person, but just can't stand him. So far I haven't chosen a favorite yet, and this is first time I'm without a USB in so many years, which feels really weird because I always have had an USB and then, you lose them or they go on. But so far, the people that I like are Laurel, James, and Desiree. Ghost Island idea is being a bit meh till date. I hope something exciting comes out of it. Last week's challenge, in which the tribe came from behind with the balls and the poles, I just found that so exciting. And so far, most of the challenges had been really good. Thank you, Joanne and Stacy, for your wonderful podcast. And it is through this community I have been so very lucky to have made some really great, wonderful friends. And so far, I have actually been able to meet two. First, I met Kimberly in 2016 in Japan. She was so wonderful and we had such a great time. And this year, I met Mike K, the generous Mike K. He gave me loads of pointers before I went on my trip, and they were all such wonderful ideas. Thank you, Mike K. Thank you, Joanne and Stacy. And I'll talk to you all again soon. Bye.
Thank you, Rashmi.
All right. We're glad you had a wonderful trip.
Yeah. Justified was set in Kentucky, and Donathan's from Kentucky, so I get why she's making that connection. I was
thinking he was from Tennessee for some reason.
No, Kentucky.
Okay.
Yeah, and does he look like the actor that played Dewey Crow? He doesn't look like him to me.
Not exactly, but he does sound like him.
A little bit, he does, yeah. His speech patterns are similar, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we have been even more Southern
Absolutely.
than we
than
are
we currently
now.
are, even though we all sound alike from the South.
No, we don't.
Okay, thanks, Rashmi. Glad to have you back. Next up, we got an email from BostonMark. I'm behind on the podcast, but very much enjoying what I have heard this season. Thanks as always. My USB Angela is so invisible and ineffective that I forgot who my USB was and had to look it up. She may give me 24 points though, so that's something anyway. I don't see the person getting the alleged winners at it. They all seem to have flaws or little airtime. The ones with airtime have the flaws: Smug Bradley, Nervous Kellen, Resting Face Jenna, Young Michael, Stud Wannabe Sebastian, Huge Target Chris, Going to Screw It Up Dominic, Lizard Donathan, and Don't Kick Sand at Me James all need to adjust their games. Chelsea, Laurel, and Wendell are secondary characters so far, but have potential. Desiree and Angela are barely seen. This leaves Libby, who has few flaws except for her flawlessness. She is a big surprise, and I'm intrigued to see her grow. I'm not complaining, just have no idea who will emerge, and to me, that's great. Just to explain two of my nicknames, Donathan reminds me of a lizard by how he sits on the side and stares and then speaks kind of slowly and sluggishly. James is like the wimp on the beach that sees the Muscle Man advertisement, becomes one, but doesn't know what to do with the muscles and has no other skills. All right, thanks for explaining those, BostonMark. That was great. Good to hear from you. Next up, got a call from Drew and his crew.
Hi everyone, this is Drew.
Drew.
And?
Otherwise.
We're here on another Saturday morning to a quick recording, and sorry I missed last week. We were out of town. We were in Pasadena. I was singing at a conference there. It was a really fun trip, just a quick weekend for me and Julie and little baby. And I thought I should probably do my recording before I leave, or I'm going to forget on Saturday, because we were flying back on Saturday, and then I thought, no, I'll just call in like I've done in the past, and then I just totally spaced it until I saw your post that the feedback was done. So sorry about that, but maybe I didn't have that much to add anyway. So let's get back into it now. I thought the last couple of episodes were pretty, I don't know, interesting, maddening, but definite Survivor playing, so that was good. It's tempting to be really impressed with Michael's gameplay just because he is a fan, and then he really wanted to make a move with that idol, but then he played it wrong, and also he is kind of floundering when it comes to his attempts to get back in with those other five. But I mean, he's trying hard, and he is playing pretty well, so I can't complain too much. I wasn't really surprised about Stephanie, and it's funny that they made her look so positive in the early episodes, and then she just kind of fizzled out. It seems like they've been doing that with a few people like Jacob got a lot of, well, no, he didn't get very good coverage, but he did get some coverage. But I guess we're starting to see more of Desiree. We're starting to see more of Bradley for sure. Anyway, it seems like there's a lot of things changing and happening, and I don't still really like a lot of this cast. I like some of the things that are happening, and it's been fun, but it seems like in the fandom there's some grumbling about this cast. But what else is new?
That looks like a skeleton right there.
Oh, does it? Yeah, we're looking at the Get SFP website, and the Survivor logo definitely does look like a skeleton.
Yeah.
I think it's funny and interesting they're doing another tribal shuffle. I was going to say something I noticed when I was listening to your recap. I think that the before and after commercial break recaps can be kind of annoying too, but I don't necessarily think they're because people are too dumb to remember what was happening. I think it's in case people just tuned in and missed what was happening, so they're just kind of giving you a brief recap to catch you up. But I don't know, it still does waste time, and sometimes it is really super repetitive and annoying. Anyway, I also realized, gosh, you guys, I'm way off my game this season. I didn't join in the side challenge in time, which you notice I would be, I think, tied for last place. Last week I was in absolute last place. I didn't send in my feedback last week, and the other thing is I haven't been giving my winner and loser of the week, and so pretty easy to designate those. You know, like the losers of the week so far could have been Jacob, Chris. I don't know. I'm tempted to just give it to Sebastian because that dude bugs. I don't know, you guys. He's the lesser version prototype of all of those guys. And winners of the week, I know you could give it to certain points. You could give it to Stephanie early on, and then Michael, and then this week, okay, let's just start clean. Winner of the week, I guess I'm going to give it to Laurel because she handled that moment with Donathan pretty well. And loser of the week, I'm going to give it to Stephanie because she just couldn't save herself in the end. Yep. Sorry, babe, your pick of Moana. She's gone. I'm not really sorry to see her go. Sorry, guys. All right, this has gone on long enough, but I'm going to get back in my groove. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I spent my special day visiting Harry Potter at Universal Hollywood, where I've never been. It was really close to where our conference was, so took the day and went there, and I was picked at Ollivanders. It was very magical, and I didn't buy the wand that they picked for me because it's too expensive and it wasn't the one I wanted. Okay, really looking forward to seeing what happens next, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Bye!
Bye, bye, bye.
All right. Good to have you back. I'm glad you had such a good time. I like that. That's a lesser version of that prototype. That's a great description of Sebastian.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, this just perfectly sums Sebastian up. Yeah. Thanks, Drew. Next up, got a call from Parker.
Hey, it's Parker from Indiana. This episode was not as exciting as the others, but it had some pretty good challenges. But yeah, Ghost Island. This is the one episode where it could have been awesome, and we could have gotten something really good to help out Stephanie and that alliance. Nope. Nothing. Nope. Ugh, it's so annoying. Like, yeah, when you really need Ghost Island, it gives you nothing, and that's just, it's not good. It's not good TV. It's just annoying. Michael's still here, and Stephanie's gone. Sad to see her go, but Michael's the main person I'm rooting for now. I feel like I relate to him so much because 18, he's the youngest player out there, and he's playing so hard, and this is his dream, and he's playing so well too, and I'm just, and I relate so much. It's crazy, and I wanted to be so good because I need someone to prove that having 18-year-olds on the show isn't a dud. That they're not just there, that they do play and they can win. I need someone to prove that so that when I'm 18 and I apply, they're like, okay, let's get this guy on. He's like Michael. But yeah, I mean, this episode, not a whole lot happened. Jonathan and Chris bonded, and it sounds evil, but it's a good move to get out Stephanie. Not only is she smart, but she has a great story. Like, this episode highlighted her story. Mm-hmm. And that's... Let's look at some of the previous winners, okay? We had Jeremy Collins, Adam Klein, Ben Driebergen. Any similarities between all of them? Well, they have great stories. And Stephanie, she has a story, not exactly the same, but, similar to those three winners. Keyword, winners. So it makes sense to me, and I would have gotten out Stephanie. And I like that Michael and Jenna went with that majority alliance. So, what's the point of remaining on the bottom if you're, not a Wii game? And that's what you got to do. That's what I want to say. Not a whole lot. Go Michael. Sad to see Steph go, but makes sense to me. I know a lot of people are going to, bummed out, and I'm sad. I liked her, but yeah, it seems like a logical move to me. Plus, Michael's still there. Next episode looks crazy, tribe swap, and maybe a little something extra. I don't know. It looks very strange. Maybe they're going to get rid of Ghost Island. Hey, what about that? Because it sucks. That's all I got. See you guys next time.
That was good. I'm so glad that you have Michael to cheer for, and that's energizing for you. But at the same time, you're Parker. You'll get on because you're Parker. You don't need Michael at all. I love your energy.
Well, I have to say that I've been somewhat tolerant of Ghost Island and the you don't get to play. But I thought, if they do that next week, I think I'm going to lose it.
Yeah.
That would just be over the top, unacceptable, and I think I'm going to get really ticked off.
Yeah.
I just keep going, okay. But I thought, enough already. So I'm already building up to that. You know, if they don't do something this week, I'm really going to be upset.
Yeah. Joanne's going to declare it Dud Island, and you're done. She's going to wash her hands of you. Thanks again, Parker. Next up, we got an email from Kenny in Dallas.
My first email. So much for the Survivor winner edit. I thought Stephanie was certainly one of the favorites to win the game. I'm afraid she was just on the wrong side of the numbers in her tribe. Her departure is eerily similar to Allie's early exit last season. Allie was another apparent strong player. Maybe the upcoming tribe swap will avert further pagonging, but I'm not so sure.
Yeah,
I like the cast for this season, but I think this season features two flaws, which may alienate current fans and not attract new ones. One, I'm sure Stephanie has a very compelling life story. However, I think it was unnecessary for the edit to include her leaving the Mormon religion as a positive life change. Can you imagine an edit including her stating that she left Christianity, Judaism, or Islam? I don't think so. That comment should have been left on the cutting room floor. I guess the producers of the show have checked their demographics and come to the conclusion that very few Mormons watch the show. Not sure because there's a lot of Mormons on the show.
Yeah, they've cultivated that community, right?
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, it was an interesting choice. All right, let's keep going.
Okay, number 2. Nothing is more self-defeating than to hype something up and then come up empty. I guess there will be a future season entitled Ghost Island 2, in which the producers of the current show will be highlighted as the ones who made a terrible blunder, in this case, overselling a concept, and the new cast, consisting of new producers, will actually deliver on the Ghost Island premise. So far, the season is not living up to the reverse the curse mantra, but luckily, real life comes to the rescue. In 2004, Duke blew a big lead to lose to Connecticut in the Final Four semifinal game. The game was in the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. I was there to witness the disaster. If Duke beats Kansas tomorrow, they will be going back to San Antonio for another Final Four appearance and an opportunity to truly reverse the curse. All right. Thanks,
Yep.
Kenny.
Thanks, Kenny.
Managed to get that in there.
Yep. Good job. Next up, hey, we got a call from Teacher Kim and Student Cameron. I like this one. Someone new here.
Hi, this is Cameron. I'm 17 years old.
And I'm Cameron's math teacher from last year, and we found out that we both love Survivor. So we're calling with our first feedback today.
Yeah, I got really close in the fantasy this week. I'm not sad to see Michael stay, although this would have been my first vote-off point, so I was really close. I know, Stacey, you'd be upset because now that Stephanie's gone, you and Joanna both lost your USB picks, unfortunately.
Yeah, I lost my USB the very first week because I had picked Jacob, and I guess there was a warning out that y'all put out for that, but I missed it. So we noticed something about statistics. This year, Cameron is taking statistics, and I teach statistics, and we noticed that Jeff made a comment to Sebastian when he was pulling that last rock out of the bag. And Cameron, do you want to talk about that?
Well, basically, he said that Sebastian's chance, or it was all a chance, right?
It's totally random because it was the last rock.
What Jeff said was wrong, though, and Jeff said that it's all coming down to chance here, but there was no chance because it was predetermined.
Because all the other rocks were already out of the bag. Yeah. Anyway, we just wanted to get some math nerd stuff in there. We thought Stacy would really like that. But I've been listening to the podcast for a few seasons, and the community is really lovely, and we appreciate what you do. Cameron, you got anything to add?
I've got to know much more about Survivor from the listeners' feedback, as well as Joanne and Stacy. It's been fun. The fantasy so far this season's been great. Very unpredictable. My USB was Angela, and I really do not think she'll be hanging around for much longer either. So we'll all see what happens.
All right, looking forward to what everybody else has to say. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, good job, guys.
Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, one choose one. Yes, not a lot of random in that. I like that. Good job. Thank you.
Awesome.
Next up, got a call from Taz.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Taz in Louisiana. I thought this week's episode was a really fun episode. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Stacy, you think you were bold with your picks? I had Michael, Steph, and Jenna safe. I was confident that the other tribe was going to tribal council this week. I did think it was wise of Michael to try and smooth things over with Bradley. I mean, it never hurts to be nice. Whereas if he was just smug about it, it could come back to bite him on the backside. The reward challenge was pretty exciting, and kudos to Desiree for surviving her submarine run. And man, Jeff's face was priceless when that happened. And then they draw rocks, and Steph gets sent to Rice Island. Ghost Island has been such a bust that from now on, I'm just going to refer to it as Rice Island because really that's all they get. And to backtrack just a little bit, I've been thinking a lot of people were upset with the legacy advantage. That was the first advantage on Rice Island. If you remember, when Ryan found the legacy advantage the first time, it didn't do anything for him either. He had to give it to somebody on the other tribe. In the immunity challenge, Chris was awesome. We were like, wow, check him out. And then back at camp, did nobody think to look for an immunity idol? I mean, come on. Even if there wasn't anything there, you could at least look. Well, anyway, I guess that's all I have to say for this episode. As always, thanks for all you do. Taz in Louisiana, over and out.
Thanks, Taz. I like that. Rice Island, Dud Island.
Yep.
We're going to have a lot of names for the disappointment that is Ghost Island.
That was truly Stacy's kind of bold.
For sure. Good job. Thanks, Taz. Next up, we got an email from Josh, the plush moose from Massachusetts. Dear Joanne and Stacy, I could have used that coffee reward while I was watching this episode. Hopefully next week's swap will stop the pagonging for a while and revive my interest level. My other observations, after last year's Outback Steakhouse feast, I was surprised the coffee reward wasn't sponsored by Starbucks. Why wouldn't they open a shop on an obscure beach in Fiji? Yeah, good point. The players trying to collect the tossed beanbags looked like they were on the losing end of a game of dodgeball. Ringer Chris pitched a shutout in the reward challenge. This morning, I stumbled upon a treasure trove of future recruits on ESPN2, the Beanbag Pros of the American Cornhole League. Oh, that's good. This season's ubiquitous rock draws bring new meaning to rocking the vote. I wonder if we could white rock some politicians to Ghost Island. There you go. Chris thinks he's a rapper. What's his stage name? Vanilla Rice? Stephanie can attest that absence makes a survivor a target. I've given up the ghost waiting for a winner at Ghost Island's casino. I'm sorry, but watching uplifting backstory for someone who's about to be booted isn't my idea of good TV. Right there. That sums it up perfectly. Their talks with Donathan showed that Laurel has game while Chris is a game bot. After last week's preview, I'd already dubbed this week's immunity challenge the waterboarding challenge. The U.S. Navy should christen its next sub the USS Desiree. During the last part of the immunity challenge, puzzled Malolo slid toward oblivion. Reusing old immunity idols kills the fake idol game. Homemade idols are obviously fake, unless it's a freaking stick. In the history of great pickup lines, your hair smells like a dead weasel probably doesn't rank in the top 10. Opposites attract. Jenna is an account executive. Seabass is a no account. The Navidi Five could have spared us 20 minutes of dithering by making their victims play Rochambeau. Next time, drop your buffs. If the survivor gods believe in karma, it'll be 3 tribes of 5, and snobbish Bradley is going to Anchor Beach. Anyway, that's it for me. Thanks, Joanne and Stacy, for all you do. I can't wait to hear what the other fans have to say. Thanks, Josh. Yeah, definitely. You got to have Bradley go to Anchor Beach. That'll just grind him completely away if it got worse.
That would make me happy.
Right? Yeah. Next up, we got a call from JayWaffles.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy and all the Survivor fans at home. This is JayWaffles from Canada with some thoughts on Survivor Ghost Island Episode 5. And did I say Survivor Ghost Island? I meant Survivor Ghosts from Our Past Island, because man oh man are the producers ever pushing for any kind of emotion or human interest story that they can use in this season. Yeah, sure. I mean, last season we had Ben and his PTSD, and we had Zeke and his transgender story, and then even before that we had Ty being the animal lover. But this is getting ridiculous. Like every single time, every single confessional is probably like, how does that make you feel? You know, let's bring up your deepest, darkest secret and let's try to exploit that so we can get some ratings. Whatever happened to gameplay? Whatever happened to, I don't know, I'm scared to say this, but showmances? What, are we not doing that anymore? It's an island full of young people. Can anybody kind of hook up? God, Jenna and Sebastian, that was a train wreck. That I don't even know why they even chose to try to tease that, because that was just so funny and dismissive from Sebastian on Jenna's hair braiding ability. Both my daughter and I were just cracking up at that ridiculousness. Chris has got a arm cannon on him for sure. That was ridiculous. And you know, so humble, so very humble about it as well. You know, he's just throwing rocks back in college, like, ugh, give me a break. Oh, going down to maybe 3 tribes. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't think I like it. It's the balance of power is already with the Navidi tribe. So, you know, unless something really crazy happens in the tribe swap, and they're actually, you know, maybe one tribe is all going to be the original Malolo or Naviti, I don't even know, the tribe with less people. You know, maybe that will even the odds a little bit, but I think that this is just a waste of time. Oh, Ghost Island, aside from the Ghost of Our Past Island, it's silly. It's a waste of time. I don't know why they're doing it. This would have been a perfect opportunity for Stephanie, poor Stephanie, to actually be able to play a game and to do something cool, and no game for you. So that was silly. And also, you know, this in a Survivor season like past where everyone had an idol, you know, you couldn't throw it out there for those guys. Like, it would have been kind of cool to see how that would have played down. I don't know. I'm a little bit annoyed by that, but that's okay. The last 20 minutes of this was sort of boring, because there was really little drama. It was just, you know, who's going to pick who, and then it was very clear by the end of it that Stephanie was going home because the 2 other Malolo tribe members, they voted for her, so they knew going in that she was going. So it was just kind of like, let's try to make something of this and find some human interest story to it. And even Sebastian in Tribal Council, he looked like he was falling asleep during too. So let's hope for some more action going forward, blindsides and some I don't know, Ghost Island. Let's hope for that. You know, crazier things can happen. All right, well, that's my time. Thanks for all you guys do. Really enjoy it. It's the best part of the week. And have a good one. Bye!
All right, thanks, JayWaffles. If people, there's always this certain portion of the audience that thinks that the producers are controlling the outcomes, that they're manipulating the game, even though there's checks and balances in place to make sure that doesn't happen, because this falls under the game show category. Mm-hmm. And there would be all kinds of potential legal issues for that being the case. If you're one of the folks that suspects that from time to time or wonder, the train wreck that is Ghost Island should help you see how that's not the case. Because like JayWaffles said, if there was
thrown something in there for Stephanie,
if
they could shake it up,
if they could have kept her in, they absolutely would have done that.
It's all pre-planned and approved by CBS before they filmed the show.
Yep. Thanks again, JayWaffles. Next up, we got a call from Jacqueline.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. What is up, Survivor fans? This is Jacqueline from Orange County, California. So my thoughts on last week's episode was I'm really loving Chris. He's so hateable, but also so lovable at the same time. I could tell he's super excited, but about the chocolate croissant. But it was really cool that he was able to dial it back at camp and realize, the blunder that he made. And it was also really amazing how he's using his skills, his personable, quote-unquote, personable skills to get close to Donathan. I can, see Donathan kind of uncomfortable when he was talking to him, almost like he kind of was, I don't know, maybe because Chris is such a good-looking guy, he felt nervous around him. To me, it didn't look like he really felt connected to Chris's story, even though in his confessional he said something else. But the look on his face, and he was kind of taking deep swallows, and he kind of just looked uncomfortable. But good on Chris just trying to make connections like that and realizing that he needs his social game to get through to this game. So I really, really liked him in this episode. And then as for who do I think is going to be targeted for next episode, I think honestly it's going to be Angela. I think she might be going next just because she's the next older female. And they usually tend to target her, and she just kind of seems all over the place with her emotions, that is. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, I'm kind of sad for you, Stacey, that your USB's gone, but I really did not like the whole pity party that she was putting for herself. It just wasn't a good look. Can't wait to hear what everybody else has to say. Bye!
Yeah, I like Jacqueline picked up on that, too, that Donathan did look uncomfortable in that discussion with Chris when Chris was talking at him as opposed to potentially listening to him. I remember thinking the same thing, so I like that you pulled that out. Good job. Next up, we got an email from Brandon in Brooklyn.
Survivor fans, I'm frustrated with this season. I hate that they kept the tribes into 2 after the tribe swap. They should have split the tribes into 3, and that can allow more fluid play. Smart Survivor players will keep people from their original tribe around and build an us versus them mentality that is hard to break when it's just 2 tribes versus 3. I'm annoyed watching pagongings these past episodes. I think Ghost Island is terrible. I think it is foolish that 2 people went to Ghost Island, didn't even get a chance to compete in a game when they were on the bottom. I wonder, what if the producers discover that future players refuse to play the game at Ghost Island and just relax in that nice shelter, enjoy the fire, and eat big portions of rice? I'm going to be really annoyed after the merge when most of the players get idols or advantages because they get sent to Ghost Island and they didn't earn it. I liked Stephanie. I thought she was getting a winner's edit, but she got screwed over because of a tribe swap. I hope she gets another chance to play and show off more of her game skills. I hope next week is another tribe swap and they divide them into 3 tribes of 5. I don't like Bradley. I can't wait to see his epic fall. I want the battle of Chris versus Dom to continue a few more weeks and explode after the merge. See you next week. All right. Thanks, Brandon.
Yeah, good job.
Up next, we have a voice clip from Jen.
Hi, everyone. This is Jen in California. Well, like I always say, having an episode of Survivor to watch is always better than not having an episode of Survivor to watch. But having said that, I really don't like episodes that seem kind of like the metaphorical death march of 2 or 3 survivors to the tribal council, where it's a guarantee that one of them is going to be voted off. The majority alliance is so smug and confident. I mean, I know we had some suspense in wondering, which of the 3? I don't know, I spent the whole episode just feeling bad for the 3 of them, for Stephanie and Michael, and I don't remember the other girl's name. But I guess that's what episodes like that are for. Sometimes, for some contestants, the writing just is on the wall that way, and while it might not make for my favorite episode of TV, I guess, there have to be eliminations like that one. I was impressed with Chris's performance at the reward challenge. Really impressed, actually. He has a very accurate throwing arm. But I was not impressed with the smugness afterward in that confessional. It was like, Ew. I don't even know what to say about that. Cringeworthy, especially since, unbeknownst to him, he's really not as cool and top dog as he thinks he is. Overall, I think it's pretty much still anyone's game at this point. I really can't see any survivor who's clearly running this game, so I guess we'll have to see what the future holds. Okay, now I want to talk a little bit about Ghost Island here. I was really upset to see Sorry No Game for You again. How many has that been? We've had 2 individuals have an opportunity to play, and only one of them has played. And we've had 3 with no opportunity to play. I'm starting to think that this whole Ghost Island thing is a dud. A big dud. I would much rather have a season with an Exile Island. I don't know, I just think it's more compelling. In fact, that's almost what it is. It's like an Exile Island, only they call it Ghost Island, so we're expecting more from it somehow. Anyway, that's it for me. I'm looking forward to hearing everyone else's comments and thoughts. Till next week. Bye.
Thanks, Jen. Cringeworthy. That was a good way to describe that confessional.
Yep, I agree.
Good job. Next up, we got a call from Paul.
Hey, Paul in Louisiana here. And, I'm getting tired of hearing Jeff ask the winning tribe who's going to have to go to Exile Island and then have them immediately choose rocks. This week, they gleefully announced their lack of a decision. Will that change if they go to 3 tribes? And that's what I think is going to happen. Well, I doubt that's going to change the rocks thing. I say we penalize them. It would cause more chaos amongst the tribes if they forced a call. And as for Exile Island itself, come on. From here on out, I'm not even going to expect anything from it. They should actually change the name to Rice Island because boy, do they seem to be able to cook a big pot of rice while they're out there. Yep. Now for the good parts of the show. First off, that scene where Desiree got pulled through the water, well, we've watched it about 5 times now because of the look on Jeff's face. If you didn't catch it, it's well worth multiple rewatches. Yeah. And if we're talking about this season, there's just no way to do it without bringing up Chris. He's a powerhouse in just about everything, but sooner or later, that ego is going to undo him. I hope he can see that as he's watching this. To cut my critique of him short, I'll just cut to the chase and say that he's my pick to go in the next episode. Oh, and I hope that people were idol hunting and that we just didn't get to see it. In a season where I was sure we'd be overwhelmed with idols and advantages, it actually appears that they've cut back on them. Michael knows the game, so I'm going to say that since he couldn't find an idol, we just didn't get to see him or anyone else hunting for one. And all I can say about Sebastian is that when I hear the words, I need braiders in my tribe, well, I'm thinking that's a woman talking. The times, well, they certainly are changing, though. Lastly, Stacy, I feel for you. Stephanie was a great choice for a USB. I didn't see it from her brief bio video, but she really did have it together out there. The sad thing is, there's also a luck factor involved in Survivor, and she was just one of those sad casualties of the game. Me, I still don't understand why they didn't target Jenna since she appears to be weaker. I mean, I know they said Steph was a strategist, but I'm assuming they kept Michael to help the team win challenges, so why not keep Stephanie as well? Maybe those mad braiding skills did keep Jenna afloat a little while longer in this game. So for me, it's Chris to go. Wishful thinking on my part, I know, but when you're dealing with a tribe mix-up, you might as well shoot for your dreams, right? It's just a shame that Chris's ego overshadows everything else that he brings to this game. So everyone enjoy the next episode, and I will catch you all next week. Bye.
Excellent. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, it's true. Survivor's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about 80% luck being the winner, and the other 20%, most of that is your social ability, and maybe 3% is your physical component there. And certainly Stephanie got a batch of bad luck for sure. But I'm with the other folks. I suspect given the opportunity, they'll bring her back. They would probably bring her back over any of the others that have gone, because you can tell they had invested in her, even though they knew what the outcome was going to be at this point in the game.
Yeah, they liked her story.
So who do you think? Who are the big targets? Obviously Chris, Dominic, they're likely to go.
Bradley.
Yeah. Here's one of the things that I flashed on when I was listening to some of the feedback. So we're talking about, we think it's going to go to 3 traps. But what if it goes to 2 and it somehow turns out with the luck factor that it's all the original Malolo and Bradley on one tribe?
That works for me.
because that would sort of fit with how things are going, and it's like, oh yeah, it's still 2 tribes instead of potentially going to 3 and given the opportunity for a lot of change and mix up, but then it flips the script on poor Bradley there. That would be an interesting thing to see.
There's only let's see, how many of the old Malolo? 4, 5, 6. Okay, yeah, 7 on each tribe.
Mm-hmm.
I would love that.
Yeah, that would be something.
Like,
for
yes,
sure.
Guess who's going, Bradley? Just sit back and ponder.
But you work really hard now, okay?
Yeah, you work really hard to win us over.
Yeah. Have Michael come by. What you got for me, Bradley? What's your pitch? Have Jenna do it too.
Be like, I saved you. Now you need to save me.
Mm-hmm. I really stuck up for you, man. Well, it's going to be exciting to see. We want to thank everybody who took the time to send in your thoughts and insights and predictions this week. And we want to say a big thanks to Leanne in California for a review on iTunes. Greatly appreciate that. Also, a huge thanks to Emily for your subscription donation. That donation goes to our operating costs, which keep ticking away every month, and we really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And if you played the Fantasy League, don't forget to get your picks in before the deadline on Wednesday. Sometimes, lately, I've almost forgotten. I always used to do it the day before, and I still did this week. Well,
yeah,
actually,
you're
it
on
was
top of it
early
this
in the
week.
morning, sometime between,
Yeah.
in the middle of the night. But still, I got it in. And but I find I've just been
Leaving
it
it to the last
too late,
moment.
and I've
Okay.
always encouraged people, don't do that. Anything could happen.
Well, do as she says, not as she does. There you have it.
There you go.
Okay,
There it is.
time to pay a long overdue debt. So we have the side challenge in the JSFL League. And the thing about the side challenge is, while it's great to win the side challenge, it can be really tough to lose it. Because if you lose the side challenge, then you are on call to perform a parody of a song that the winner picks. And last season, at the end of last season, Drew made a pick. Drew won. Drew chose You Hit Me Like a Bomb by Third Day. And the bomb reference obviously goes to Ben.
I actually like that song, Drew.
Yeah, it's a good song. It was a good choice, and it had the whole bomb theme, which Ben blowing up at Tribal Council fit in super well. So let's let James and Shannon, who lost the JSFL Side Challenge last season, do a quick intro of their song here.
Hey guys, this is James.
And Shannon.
And we wanted to start by apologizing to everyone for the delay in getting the song to you and for the punishment that we are inflicting on you as part of our punishment. We realize that this is a much more difficult task than we thought it would be when we were handing out the punishment for winning. And now that we have lost, we can confirm this is indeed a punishment. We are not proud, but we are also not too embarrassed. So enjoy. Bye.
Bye.
That's excellent. I love that lead in. So let's go over some of the lyrics real quick, and then we'll play that tune as our outro. We'll head out with that. Hero Ben, early alliance with Chrissy. Ben was a double agent. Ben betrayed by new alliance. 3 hidden immunity idols. Defeated Ryan in fire making. Fire caused PTSD. Overheard Joe trying to convince Ryan and Devin to vote him off. Joe lied about swearing on the Marines. Voted Cole out. Had a fake idol and played a real one. I like that. Ben versus everyone. Played idol before the vote. Won 5-2-1. I hit you with a bomb. Everything you planned to do suddenly is gone. Sorry to confuse you. Do you know your game is done when I hit you like a bomb? A bomb. Hear the sound of your heart breaking. See your torch as Jeff starts snuffing. When I hit you with a bomb, you got scared and you started plotting. Never knew I saw your double crossing. Then I hit you with a bomb. La 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 la.
La 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 la.
There we go. All right, let's turn it over to them. Have a good one.
I hit you with a bomb. Everything you planned to do suddenly is gone. Sorry to confuse you. Do you know your game is done when I hit you with a bomb. Hear the sound of your heart breaking, suck the torch at the fire making. When I hit you with a bomb, just scared and you started plotting. Never knew I saw you double crossing. Then I hit you with a bomb. Hit you with a bomb. Double agent rocking. Marine Corps strong. I know you're double crossing. This battle is big, but this one takes you home. Hear the sound of your heart breaking. Suck the torch at the fire making. When I hit you with a bomb, you got scared and you started plotting. Never knew I saw you double crossing. Then I hit you with a bomb. Hit you with a bomb, me versus everyone. I hit you with a bomb and I win this game. Hit you with a bomb, me versus everyone. Hit you with a bomb and I win this game. Hear the sound of your heart breaking. Stop the torch at the fire making. When I hit you with a bomb, you got scared and you started plotting. Never knew I saw you double crossing. Should I hit you with a bomb?
Hey.
Yay!
Good job,
All
James
right.
and Shannon.
Good job.
Debt paid.
In full.